Hey there, Nicola here, remembering you back into your light. Nicola, or light worker, it's a being of me that is moving back into the light, which is my ascension, which is your ascension also. So you'll probably hear, because you want to hear a bit of information that I hold within my own truth, my own perspective. And I hope that this sort of like helps you on with your ascension journey into really sort of like looking at these ascension symptoms. So welcome to my channel. If you're new, it does sound a little bit crazy for the mind, but just try and push through it, and then the information will help you move forward, whether you want to take it now or not. This is through my own experience, And what is it today that I want to talk about? So I'm moving within this sort of distorted field subject matter, because it's really important for us to really deep dive down into the shadows of this reality, and that some things aren't always what they seem to be. I just literally had a message on one of my comments, so please comment, because it does actually spark me and inspire me onto the next information that I'm going to bring forward, from John. And he's talking about the movement of energy, and as he's going through the process, that he's having nausea as a symptom of his ascension, going through different phases. And yes, indeed, we have different phases of information that come to us and is experienced in our physicality. So whether it's nausea, whether it's pains in the body, whether it's emotional state, purges, all of this is going on to enable you to raise in your vibration so that you can connect to your higher knowingness. Now, one of those symptoms is actually feeling sicky, nausea. Okay, so I want to really sort of pick that apart with my inner guidance about what is it that we are experiencing during a symptom of nausea, which will be an ascension symptom, okay, rather than nausea, which is a physical symptom, but there is a juxtaposition between the two. I don't know if I've said that right, but there's the physical reality of feeling sick, and then there's this one, which is energetic. So I'm going to go into that. Let's go into that now. So remember that the realities in which we are tapping into are coming from different dimensions of being. There is the physical realm of understanding from our sensory perception, and as we move into higher levels of understanding, we are experiencing through the senses of the physical body and connecting to higher realms of understanding, into different dimensional states of connection, to enable us to see what is going on through this reality, cutting through all the density, all the distorted fields, so that we can see the purity of light, which is the original template of this earth. So we're cutting through all this controlled system, the suppressive energy that is keeping us locked into our body and not connecting us into under the mind, thank you, and then not into high levels of consciousness. So we're going to start off first of all with the physical body. As always, my beautiful stick person is going to come and show themselves. This is the physical body. You have the energy running through the upper body and the lower body here, and there's a beautiful face. So the energy is always moving through the body. It can move out of the hand system from the upper body, and then we've also got the breath, okay, and the breath comes out. As we know, as I've always talked about, if you follow my video content, please hit that notification bell so that you can see when I upload, is that the incline, the increase, the up is the inward breath. And this is really important, the inward breath. And the outward is the decrease. So we got up and down. So the outward breath. Okay, done. So within this reality in which we are in, which is like a little box of consciousness, we're very contained in a box in physicality. Everything that is projected from the inward realms, we're projecting outwardly into our our system of reality. So we could see it as a Merkaba. It is our reality, our own little world is created within our little box. But if we want to extend out into other realms of understanding, we need to increase our box so that we then can start to push out in this reality a further field of information. So we could look at this as a different dimension. So the inward physicality of things through our sensory perception is we breathe in air, we breathe out carbon dioxide, and the system that runs through the lungs, it runs through the whole of the system, would create a sensory perception of nausea. So if we're going to go like feeling a bit sicky, right? I said that because I'm just trying to think of how to spell nausea, and I just thought, well, I'll just put sicky in. It'll be you know what I mean. Nausea doesn't mean actually that you're actually physically purging, but it is the feeling of sickness, a sicky, okay? Outward breath is letting it go. Upsurge, you're breathing in the light, okay? And this is really important. In, breath, light, okay? Remember that. This is always important. When we're dealing with another dimension, we're breathing into another dimension energetically. So the breath is very energetic. And when it interacts with this realm, which is the physical realm in this reality, the breath then becomes physical, but it also interacts with the physical body that connects to the other realms, which affects the physical body in that when we are releasing, okay, when we're letting go of density, it may feel sicky. It may feel to the body that you are feeling nauseous. Okay, done. And indeed, it has an effect that you might physically feel sick and you might physically be sick. But other times you might get these other symptoms, which I want to talk about. But the other symptoms that we might get is we might get a sense of saliva that comes in, and this is going to sound a bit, it might feel really thick saliva. If you get this as an Ascension symptom, it's absolutely fabulous, because what you're doing is it's like you're letting go of an energetic, it's going to sound disgusting in this video, plug. Okay? If you've experienced this, you will know exactly what I'm talking about. If you've had a session with me, a lot of people experience this, and you need to get a tissue at that point because you feel that you can't swallow it. I've experienced it on the very beginning of my journey, and it was all a little bit like, oh my God, I can't. It was actually started when I was in a car. I was driving down a dual carriageway in England, good old England, and I was like, oh, I can't. And it was coming up. It was like really horribly thick, purgy, sicky feeling, and I luckily had a tissue synchronistically. I provided myself with some tissues to the side of me in the car door little thing, and it popped, and then it continued for a couple of hours when I got home in the bathroom, which was beautiful to explain here on this video for you, which I'm not going to go too much more into that. But as I did, I was feeling energy that was coming up from the lower chakras. So these sort of lower chakras, the energy from my tummy was bringing up this sense of this purgy, thick saliva, and it moved on up through, and it came out here, past the throat, out of the mouth. Not nice experience. And if you're experiencing it, it's a good thing, okay? Because you're releasing thick density that you are converting into a physical purge for the physical body to release it from your system. Okay, here's another beautiful one, is if you feel that you're going to be purging, you're not necessarily going to get the saliva, but you'll get the energy feel of something quite, it's going to sound really horrid, something quite thick and nasty coming out of the mouth that feels like a column of density. Okay, how can I write this? So it's like dense, It's like a dense solid. So I've never had it myself, but when I was married, my ex had had a had a sickness where he was sick, this real solid sickness. Gosh, it's a horrible subject, isn't it? All these things that go on with the physical body, but it feels physically. It feels like you go like, honest, it's gorgeous. I've got plenty of videos that I've done with my sessions with clients, and there's plenty of times that I transmute negative energy through my field, assisting the release of the energy as I work with them energetically. And I experience this quite a lot. As the purge of energy comes up, this thick, dense nausea, thick field of energy comes out through the mouth, and it feels very solid. It feels like a big sort of column of light that comes up, and once that does, it's pretty good. This feeling afterwards, as you invite the light in to top up the density, as you let go of the density, you bring in the light, and then it makes things feel so much better. What you're actually doing, okay, let's go into that. As you blend into other realms of understanding, when you are purging energetically, you are connecting to that of other realms. And indeed, as you release the energy that is perceived to be either sticky, either gritty, either treacly, solid in form, or energetic purges. If we went into the actual ins and outs of it, then it would quite horrify the mind. So we're not going to do that. And I know what they're talking about. But let's just say that if something needs to leave your energetic field, it's going to come out in a nausea symptom energetically through the mouth, right? Not necessarily very nice. Top. The other thing is that you might get a cold breath. I get this quite a lot also. Again, it's quite a symptomatic experience that comes up. If I get a download at nighttime as an ascension symptom, if I get a download at nighttime and I'm releasing something out of my energetic field, and it normally is transmutation through somebody that's actually laying in the bed next to me, that is not always the case, but it is the case. So my daughter stayed over the other day. She was in bed with me, and as I was purging through from her, as I was connecting to her energy, as she was sort of laying in the same bed, this cold purge came up, and I knew it was hers that I was transmuting for her. So if you are a healer, and this may happen to you, or you might experience it yourself. So it's like a cold shot of air that comes out with a very, very long breath. You might experience that also if you're going into a deep meditation, they're just saying as well, which I've experienced. So all these things do happen when you are either transmuting negative energy through your field for yourself or others. So if you're with somebody that's of a lower frequency, then you can actually end up transmuting negative energy through your field by being with them also. So that comes with the journey as well. So you might actually be transmuting negative energy that is actually collective energy from somebody else. We're not going to go down that route because that's another subject. I'll probably cover that actually in my Patreon video. So yeah, okay, I'll write that down, and I'll do that there. Transmutation, okay, of others, okay. Elegiana ba kshimakoshima baba boshimakia to the battle okay. From that sense of purging, which is like cold breath, stickiness, nausea, purging of sort of like this sort of like solid energy, the pits of the energy comes up from the lower frequencies, moves up through and out through the mouth. But there are other things that would go down this way. So you might get little bubbles of energy coming out this way as well, which is very similar to this, but it's not so much that. Now, I experienced this the other day also, is that I got like a bit of a tummy ache, and I felt this, it almost sort of feels like I used to get it quite a lot of IBS. So you've got a sense of IBS, which is irritable bowel. But what happens is that the energy goes out, but it comes out in this nether region. So it comes out this way, down here. It comes out like with bubbles. And also, if I've experienced, and you may also experience this as well, which is almost feels like you're giving birth for ladies out there. It really does feel like you're giving birth. It actually feels like you've got to, physically push something out from down there. So it's like a birthing energetically would come out as a purging of low density from the energetic field. Please put your comments below if you've experienced this, because when we can sort of tap in and say, oh my god, yeah, I've had the cold breath, or I've had that dry purging, oh yes, I've had this sort of grittiness feeling, oh yes, I feel like I've given birth energetically, oh yes, I do get bubbles that come up, or however it is, whether it's through the breath, whether it's through from down below, whether it's through the hands, whether it's through the feet. These releases of energy are releasing you from density from other realms, okay? Which is a really good thing. But the mind will go into it's a physical thing. You are experiencing it physically, but energetically you're releasing, okay? Done. Okay, I'm getting a little bit off topic with the breath thing, but with the purging, done. Okay, done. Alagiana dabadigina bakosa makiaton, bokul u shaktikta inakiatan da agadabadigina makka. So what they're saying is that where it is important to understand that it is very normal on the ascension process to go through these senses of nausea, of releasing negative energy through your field, which we would call transmutation of negative energy through the field, comes with the price of a physical sensation. As you move through the realms of the deep density within the system, which is the shadow work, this will come more and more and more online. And will become more normalized in the experience of, if we talk about it, then we will understand it. Because a lot of people, and I know absolutely, that through the process of the experience, you question, oh my God, what's happening to me? What's happening to me? But the more that we speak about it, that we can share, maybe you want to share this video, is that if you're experiencing it, it is a normal process. It's the release, it's the rise. It's the rise of the physical body, but you've got to let go of the density that is restricting you of the rise. Okay, so it's really, really important for us to all understand it is quite normal to experience all these things. So, and it's an ascension symptom. Thank you. So I just want to finish off with this particular video about pins and needles within the feet when you are running a high frequency of light. If you're picking up into more dimensional shifts of high levels of consciousness, the energy that moves through you may actually upset the feet. And as the feet are conduits for the connection to the earth, if that starts to buzz in the feet, make sure you're pushing the energy out. It might then need a twitching of the toes or an ankle twist, which then will release the energy, and you might feel those clicking. Oh, but excuse me. Oh, that's another thing, burping, which is transmutation of negative energy. Beautiful thing. Burps. If you're burping quite a lot, fabulous. Again, transmutation of negative energy through your field, burping. Now, but go back into the feet. Sorry, this is I burped just then to remind myself. is that you must push through the feet chakras so that you can then anchor in deeper into the next reality of connecting to higher realms of understanding. Okay, so you're moving yourself down in deeper into the system of anchoring into past the distorted field into the original template of being. You've got to push through. So check that playlist out, which was the distorted field and the connection with the columns of moving from third density through the fourth, which includes the sticky part of the fourth density into the fifth. So I'm going off a little bit track here. Okay, my mind's kicking in now. Okay, it's all right. It's okay that my mind is, because it just does. It shows up. It's like, what are you talking about? Oh, it's all over the place, Nicola. See? Mind chatter. Push away, Nicola. Okay, so as we rise, we just are more aware. We're aware that the ego comes in. We're aware that the burp comes in to show us the transmutation of breath. We're aware of all these things. It's the awareness, it's the key thing here, because you're questioning the reality in which we are experiencing. Why is it that I'm being called to sleep? Why is it that I keep burping? Why is it that I'm having nausea? Why is this? Why is that? Forget all of that programmed stuff about your physical body, but why is it that you are energetically connecting to this part of the body that is purging, or is clicking through the feet, or you're finding it difficult to walk because the back of the heel is tight? You know, there's a pain in the knee. Why is that? Why is it? Don't just claim these things of your physical body. See it energetic, and use the breath to help you release yourself from this field of understanding, far from the mind of understanding it is a physical ailment. It's not. It's energy. It is energy passing through the physical reality to enable you to connect to high levels of understanding. It's simple as that. Really is as simple as that. But just keep question and pushing through the understanding of this reality. It is not what it seems. It is not what it seems. It is far more than that. And as we tap into the higher levels of understanding, as you push through into the outer realms of understanding, you're blending and bleeding through the reality far from sight. You're going inwards into the third eye to connect to a high levels of understanding, but you've got to let go of the distortion, which is what you are purging through the physical body in the sense of nausea. Okay, I do hope that this video serves you well. I'm going to go on a little bit deeper into transmutations for others for my membership. So there's a little button that says join if you want to join me in that membership to get exclusive video content on my top tier, which is light language monthly transmissions with extra bonuses, or on my Patreon. Go and visit those. If you're not too sure what light language is as well, I've got a course either on Udemy, or also I've got one on StarCG. And check out my website, which is nicolalight.com, if you want to be working with me, if you want to sort of work through some of these things. I do mentoring and also tapping into higher realms of understanding for you as I push through your reality with light codes on a one-to-one. And also group work, loads and loads of stuff I'm doing. So take advantage of all of that information and check out all my videos as well if you're quite new to my channel, especially those playlists on the distorted field if you're really getting into the depths of the shadows. Okay, so purging, check this one out. Okay, take care everyone. See you all soon. Bye.